Yes 101 and 100.8.
Exclusive.
Let us introduce to you the gentleman who we will be speaking to this evening. By the way, just for those of you that don't know anything about him, Mr. Wijayawardhane has been with the stock exchange now for 27 years. He's their CRO, and his roles include the overall supervision of the regulatory divisions of the Colombo Stock Exchange, regulatory policy, listing, broker supervision, trading operations, and market surveillance, amongst several other things. Whew. Seems like a busy guy.
Busy guy. Hi, good morning, Mr. Renuke.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to ask you from the very onset. Now, you've spent 27 years here. The past 2 years would have been the most eventful in your life, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Very challenging. It has probably been the most challenging and, in a way, most fulfilling also.
Is that?
Because we were able, yes. We did a lot of things during the last 1.5 years, actually.
Excellent. So let's start off by asking Mr. Renuke, since you've been a part of the Colombo Stock Exchange for now over 27 years, for the benefit of everyone listening here, at least, let's tell them, who most of us, Asa, including you and me as well, may not have much of an idea or an understanding about the stock market. Can you explain the role of the Colombo Stock Exchange?
Right. Okay. The Colombo Stock Exchange, or the CSE as we call it, where I'm part of, we are the market operator. So basically we run the stock exchange, stock market in the country. But of course, Domain Asanka, I must tell you, we are not the ultimate regulator of the market. So we have this statutory body called the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the apex regulator of the capital market in Sri Lanka. So even the stock exchange has a license to operate an exchange. So we are a private sector organization. A lot of people think that we are a state body, but actually we are not. So we are a company limited by guarantee. We don't have a shareholding like Maharaja Holdings or even John Keels or whatever. We are a membership organization. So our members are the stockbroker firms. We have two types of members, the full members and the trading members. So that's a different discussion. So we run the market. So if you ask me what our role is, so our primary role is, as I said, to operate a secondary market where people can, investors can buy and sell their securities, listed securities, among various other tradable products. But before that, we play a major role in facilitating capital formation of corporates. That is where we enable corporates to raise capital through our listing platform. I don't know whether it makes sense, because we have a set of rules called listing rules through which anybody come and raise capital. Now, the best example is we had 2 listings this year, and there are so many other listings which are lined up for this year. Take, for example, Prime Lands. That was not listed. So they had an IPO, initial public offering, and they raised capital.
The show.
Yes. So they had a successful IPO, and their shares are actually going to start trading next week on 8th, I believe. Okay. So that is the primary market. So even after listing, they could always come back to the market and raise further capital. So the capital formation plays a very key role. That is one of our primary roles. Then comes the secondary trading, of course.
Okay, Mr. Renuke, with everything that's going on, has the stock market performed well recently for people who perhaps are unaware of the stock market and what goes on?
Yeah, because I think with everything that's happening in the country, people are wondering how the stock market has done. And in your opinion, what do you think the outlook is so far?
Okay, first I'll talk about how we have performed over the last, 12 months or so. We have done exceedingly well, actually.
Really?
There are reasons for it. So time permitting, we can discuss all that. So now the stock market's performance is measured in terms of indices. You would have heard about this all-share index and S&P. So now, just to put it in context, this year until up to yesterday, so our all-share index has increased or grown up by 14%. And our niche index, which is the S&P SL20, has gone up by 11%. So these are pretty decent numbers if you compare ourselves with the regional markets. But more importantly, the market activity, the turnover levels have increased drastically, actually. I'll just give one example. The whole of last year, we have had a turnover of around 400 billion, the market turnover through secondary trading. Now we have surpassed that. To date, we have surpassed that. So we have not even completed half the year. So just to put it in context, now we have already reached 414 billion, I think, as of yesterday. So we have a long way to go. So this is, to my mind, I think in my memory, this is the third highest that we have ever achieved. Okay. So there's a lot of market activity, especially considering the fact that we are in a low interest rate regime and there was excess liquidity in the banking system. So stock market has benefited. And also we have also done a lot of other things to take the market into masses by introducing various digital based applications. We had a digitization drive spearheaded by our market regulator.
Yeah, we are quite aware of it. I think now you guys have managed to put the platform to trade on a mobile platform so that it's accessible by everybody. Can I take you away from all of this jargon and get you to explain to perhaps someone who's completely unaware of what the stock market is in simple terms? Could you explain to us how someone can invest in the stock market and how they can be remunerated over a period of time?
Okay, the mechanism to get into the market is pretty simple now. You mentioned about the mobile app. Yeah. So if you are over 18, if you are a Sri Lankan, if you are a resident, it won't take even 10-15 minutes to open an account, CDS account. You just grab your smartphone, download the CSE mobile app, and basically you could open an account through any of the stockbrokers. So the options are given to you. So you could pick any one of them. So they will do your identity verification. All that is streamlined now. You don't have to physically visit anywhere. So that is a major development that has happened in the market. So that is the easiest way of doing it. Or maybe once we open up, probably you could visit a brokerage house, talk to the investment advisors. Every stockbroker firm has these people called registered investment advisors. Yes. They are the people who are authorized to basically advise clients on investments. So that is not exactly our role. So that's where the intermediary, the stockbroker firm will have to play a major role there. But to get into the market, it's made pretty easy now. Anybody over 18 can just open an account and start trading. Of course, then you'll have to have a dialogue with the broker and transfer of funds, etc.
A couple of DMs coming through. Michelle wants to know, guys, can I invest something as little as 10,000 rupees in the stock market and expect returns? Mr. Renuke, would you like to answer?
Oh, yeah, definitely. 10,000 is actually fine because it depends on what you buy. So sometimes there are shares which are trading below even 1 rupee. So based on the advice that you get from the stockbroker, 10,000 rupees is fine. You don't have to have, that's actually a good question because a lot of people think that you need to have millions and millions of this is not for us. That is not the case. Yeah. We'll be surprised to hear that there were days recently, 10% of our daily market turnover was generated from the mobile application. So that is basically the retail segment which is operating. So that's where we are. Yeah.
Mr. Renuke, just to go back a little to our previous question also, like with big blue chips now going through a tough time as well, with COVID affecting everyone, how has the market done so well? Like, have others bolstered the market sort of a thing, or how did it happen?
No, see, there are factors which impact any stock market in any country. The interest rate regime plays a major role. So when the market interest rates, the bank interest rates are low, usually people tend to move their investments or savings into the stock market. The stock market naturally will have a lot of activity. So that has happened over the last 12 months. That has happened.
Okay.
So now just see how much of a return you get if you invest money in FD. I don't know, maybe 5%, even less.
Oh, even less. Less for sure.
Less. Yeah. So in this country, there aren't very many investment options available to the public. Of course, the traditional forms of investment like land and gold, but the liquidity is issue, so you can't easily liquidate it. So obviously, people look at the stock market. That's one of the main reasons. Then I think earlier also I said, due to various reasons, the banking system had a lot of excess liquidity and the reserve ratio was brought down. Now, for example, if you deposit 1,000 rupees in a bank, the bank can't use the entire 1,000 rupees. You know that. That's a certain quantum of that bank had to maintain with the central bank. Now, central bank, in order to boost the economy, they reduced that ratio. So money the bank wouldn't have used otherwise came back to the system. So obviously, somebody will have to benefit. So one of the initial beneficiaries of this thing was the stock market.
Right.
Then, as I said, our digitization initiatives, a lot of investment promotions, awareness programs, which drew lot of segments of the market which were never there. Now, another example is the people who had to change their business models. Now, there were importers whose imports were affected, right? You know that for the last 1.5 years, imports are so. That segment also actually, I think, got into the market. And those are sizable players. So it's a combination of a lot of factors, Dominic.
I see. Okay.
And also the corporates, I must tell you, the corporate results are coming in. So we get quarterly results of all the corporates. Right. So December, I must tell you, I'm not into that, but I just, to prepare for this program, I just did some research. So December quarter profits have been really good of all corporates. And I think we just concluded the March results. The deadline was last week. And I think we have even bettered that. So corporate seems to have also adapted to the new normal, or whatever you call it. And they've done well, actually. They've done well. They have done well compared to the expectations.
All right. Sounds exciting. Hey, folks, if you're listening to us live on Yes 101 and 100.8, we're in discussion with Mr. Renuke, talking about the Colombo Stock Exchange, the future, the past, the present, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. If you have any questions, we have a hotline. It's 0755 000 101. Or you can later on comment when this video is posted on our platforms. We'll get the message across to him.
Hey, we've got a question that came in from Roshan. Roshan says, can Mr. Wijayawardhane comment on the port city?
Okay.
And if this is positive move, what your opinion is, Mr. Renuke, about this?
Of course. I think I'm pretty upbeat about it. This is my personal view, because I have basically tried to study this a bit. Apart from the legalities, of course, now the legal issues are all sorted out. The act is in place now. So see, I look at it like this. So we have this infrastructure, which is there. So we got to make use of it, isn't it? So you can't just let go. Every country, Dom, is basically, every country wants to increase this thing called doing business rating. So there's a doing business ranking, which is applicable to every country. So that is where the FDIs, everyone needs that, because all the investments cannot be generated within the country. Obviously, a developing country like ours, we need FDIs. So traditionally, we have had various models, but then it has not been a great success. Now, if you take the last few years, Sri Lanka has not drawn a lot of FDIs compared to the markets. Even I'm not looking at the big countries like China or India. Even compared to a country like Vietnam, we haven't got to the desired level. So you got to change something. You got to change the model. It's obvious. You can't just, for example, there are, to start a business, a lot of things you had to do. You got to do various registrations, business registrations. There are various indicators which I can't tell you. Starting a business, construction permits, the utility stuff, all that will have to be made easier. You had to have a single point of contact to do all that. Now, what this port city has done is that's one aspect of it. So the whole process has been made easy, and it has taken away some of the pain points, if I may call it. It has probably taken away. So it has to be seen now. We have not still seen how it operates. If done properly, I think this can really be a game changer. The other factor is the enforcement of contracts. And we are actually, I think we have been rated pretty low on that. We were pretty much somewhere in 168 or something out of 200 countries. So we have to improve that. Now, this act, I think it has brought a lot of provisions to streamline the court process, the legal process. For example, it's talking of having international commercial dispute center, then certain priority to be given for civil and commercial litigation. So those are good things. So that this everything put together will facilitate investments, I hope, if done properly. So that's a caveat I want to add, because it's not. So it's actually, you can make it a real success if done properly. I'm not really looking at these structures now. All of us have seen these photographs where nice, skyscrapers have come in. So that is probably, there are two things here. That's the hardware. You go to Singapore, the Marina Bay, everyone admires the big buildings. But the really important thing there is the software, or the stuff that goes inside. The governance, the enforcement, the people, the technology, and the innovation. So that is where the success is. So if we can draw that, I think this can be a success. That is my answer to this.
Let's see if any other questions have come in. Is the stock market a lucrative thing for young people to get into or get involved in?
Well, I'm inclined to think so, because that's why we are having lots of young people over the last, I think, 8 months. Lots of new accounts have been opened. And most of these people are, I think, below 30, right? 18 to 30 people.
Right.
So I don't have the statistics of their trading records, but I'm made to understand that lots of young people, even university students, young professionals, they are into the market. Of course, I must again put a caveat: you have to be properly advised. So stock market is not a place where you come today, do something, end of the day you make a return. No, don't look at it like that. Look at it from a long-term perspective. Please look at it from a long-term perspective. That is my advice. Again, I'm sure this is beyond my expertise. That is done by the stockbrokers. So you need to go to a stockbroker and be advised on this.
Right. And of course, downloading the app will help. That's something they can start.
Yes, of course, because a lot of information is there, Dom, in that app.
Yeah.
Lots of, we talk of research reports, the corporate disclosures, the videos of companies, whatever the updates. So it's being further enhanced as we speak, actually.
Nice.
Pretty much, yeah. A lot of information is there.
Very
Excellent.
good. Hey, just before we go, I was having a chat with Mr. Renuke yesterday also about what he'd like to talk about. And he was telling me, hey, so anything you want to talk about, we can talk about.
Yeah.
But we know for a fact that you're a cricket lover and that you're very passionate about what happens in the local cricket team and the local cricket scene. Mr. Renuke, what do you think is happening now? How are you feeling about what's happening now?
Well, I mean, we are made to understand that we are going through a transition, but the only thing is it has taken a bit of time, isn't it? Transitions don't take 5-6 years. So I love statistics in terms of cricket. So you take the T20 cricket. T20 started in I think around about 2007. So from 2007 to 2014, within that first 7 years, we have won about 70% of our matches. T20 matches.
Right.
Okay.
Now from 2014 onwards, just guess we had just won about 29%. So that itself shows the decline.
Yeah.
We have been heading south way, whereas other countries like even Bangladesh and Afghanistan, I think they can probably beat us on any day, especially on T20 and
Why?
they are a major. So there's something wrong, no? I mean, the system. So you don't understand that. But of course, I must tell you, talent is there. Every now and then there you get these people, the Patum Nisankas and Millennials. You will have players of that caliber.
Yeah.
But there's no problem. Personally, I don't see any problem with the talent. It's this whole system of grooming them and getting them on board. You can't just pick a player and ask them to play test matches. So there's a whole process. You have to get them emerging. So I don't know. There's something wrong. So
We look forward. We look forward to seeing another one of your articles that you write.
Social commentary.
Social commentary. One more quick question, Mr. Renuke, for you before we let you go. From Dunstan, he says, any advice on which industry to invest in at the moment?
I don't think you can answer that question.
No, that is yes, because I handle the regulatory aspects of it. I'm not into investments, so that but you can. None of the CSE staff actually is qualified to answer that, because as I said, we are the operator, we are the facilitator of the market. We don't get into advice, so that we have left it to the investment advisors of stockbroker firms. Just make contact with the investment advisor and read up a bit. I mean, there's plenty of information available in the electronic media, right, on companies, and even in our app.
Yeah.
So be aware. I mean, you don't go and start trading even with a small amount. You just look for long term. That's my advice.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Super stuff.
Mr. Renuke. We really appreciate you taking your time off and having a chat with us, and of course telling the whole of our listenership that this is how it's done.
When I asked Mr. Renuke whether he'll join us on a Zoom call that will be ready to record it, he said, you're picking the worst time to put me on camera because none of us can have it. So I want to tell Mr. Renuke that we also have more chance of going.
I can see it. I can. Yes. I know. So thank you very much for having me. I mean, I certainly can't refuse when you make a request. Some place out.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Have a good day.
We got a tune. Here we go. This one's going to take us.